Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic and a puzzle by Codec. I don't often get to do puzzles by Codec, so I'm really looking forward to this. Codec is a long-time friend of the channel, and actually, is there a chance that Codec moved to Birmingham, where I'm going later today? I don't know. That would be an odd coincidence. Codec is definitely Dutch, and so it's appropriate that Codec has done a Dutch flatmates puzzle, which is what we're looking at today. And you can't mention the Dutch flatmates puzzles without mentioning Flinty, who started off a series of them and invited people to contribute, and it's been going on for ages and ages. And this is, I believe, Codec's contribution lately. It's called Terrace, after somewhere where flatmates might live, I guess. But it features 159 rules as well. And I'm really looking forward to grappling with it. I will go through the rules, which are slightly complex, in a minute. But first of all, don't forget the Labours of Rostam, still a week left to enter that on Patreon. Do join us there. It's a brilliant hunt. We got a very sad email from an Iranian who's unable, because of his country's protocols, to join us on Patreon, but has heard all about the hunt and would love to see it. So we're going to let him. Yes, it features the Persian hero Rostam grappling with labours that were reported 1,000 and more years ago in a long poem that survives today by Ferdowsi. I don't know how to pronounce Ferdowsi. Anyway, do check it out. There's lots of information there on Patreon. And of course, there's also other content on Patreon, like crosswords and connections videos. What else have we got going on? We've got all sorts going on. So we've got all of our apps, which feature Domino Sudoku, relevant to today, and Fog of War, and of course the Worms by, get this right today, Mark, Marty Sears and James Sinclair. Excellent. And you can support SVEN'S SUDOKU PAD on the links under the video, but the first link that is there under the video is to this puzzle called Terrace by Codec, and you can play it in SUDOKU PAD in our software. Do give it a go. I am going to go through the rules now and start with normal Sudoku rules apply. So 1 to 9 will go in every row, column, and 3 by 3 box. Now, the cell with the grey square is even, and digits, an X between two cells means the digits in those cells must add up to 10. Now, the Dutch flatmates rule is that every 5 in the grid must either have a 1 directly above it or a 9 directly below it. And when I say either, I mean it could have both, but it must have at least one of those, a 1 above it. So if there was a 5 here, there must be either a 1 there or a 9 there. That is the Dutch flatmates rule, and it's quite a strange rule to have gained currency and a following. It's a bit like, I always think lockout lines is quite a strange rule, but there are a number of puzzles using it. Anyway, and now we have these pink columns, the 159 rules. So a digit in column 1 indicates the column in which the digit 1 appears in this row. So if this was a 3, that means that in this row, the 1 appears in column 3 there. If this one was a 6, the 1 in this row appears there. So that's how those work. We've got the same for the number 5 in column 5 and the same for the number 9 in column 9. And again, that's not a very obvious rule. We've seen puzzles that do it for the whole grid, but this does it for columns 1, 5 and 9, which is why they're highlighted in pink. Do give it a try on that first link under the video. Don't know what we're going to find as we go along. Often Codec manages to create brilliant mélanges of 2 rules that really entertain one, and that's what we're hoping for today. So let's get cracking. You can try it on that first link. So looking at this grid and going, where in the name of goodness me do I start? There is not a lot of information here. I don't have a Scooby-Doo what to do. Okay, this video is going to start with me staring at the screen and hoping for some inspiration. What on earth? Okay, this column is a little bit busy. Now, what the heck do I mean by that? What I mean by that is there's not many places in this column where you can just put a 1, 5, or 9 and not worry about it. Now, let me just try and show you what I mean. If this digit was a 1, that would say that this digit would have to be a 2 by the 159 rule, because the 1 in this row would be in column 2. And that would mean that the X would have a 2 and a 1 on it, which would be impossible. And the same will happen here. So 1 can't be in those cells. And I was going to say 9 can't. 9 certainly can, because then 1 would be here and there'd be a 2 in the cell over here. 5 can't be in these cells because 5 can't appear on an X. It would have to be next to a 5. So let's think about 1 and 5 in this column. Now, I do also note they can't appear on a grey square that means even. And they can't be in those cells. 5 Okay, let's think about 5 first. 5 at the moment, I think, can be in those cells. Now, what's that going to do? That's going to put a 2 in one of these cells. Okay, that's not as interesting as I'd hoped. What about 1, though? 1 could be here or here. With a 9, a 1 here would require a 2 here, and a 9 here would require a 2 here. I don't know what on earth I meant to know about this. Yeah, I mean, okay, somewhere in the puzzle there is a 1 in this. Oh, of course, the flatmates rule. Oh, the flatmates rule, right. Oh, right. I mean, this is the point. I was just thinking about the 159 rule in isolation. Okay, we said that 5 is going to have to be in one of these cells in the column. Well, I don't think this can be 5 because the 5 in the bottom row has to have a 1 above it. It can't have a 9 below it. But that can't be a 1 for this same reason. That would make this digit a 2 by the 159 rule, but by the X rule it can't be. So now we know that 5 is definitely in one of these cells. Now, it either has a 1 above it or a 9 below it. This one can't have a 9 below it because of the even cell. This one can't have a 1 above it because that 1 would require a 2 here and break the X. So, whichever one of these is the 5 is pointing a 1 or a 9 onto this X. Isn't that incredible? I feel like that is so specific. That is the break-in. But it's bonkers, it's mad, it's wonderful, it's wonderfully clever. Oh, hang on, if that's a 5, if that is the 5 in column 2, this is a 9. If that's the 5 in column 2, this is a 1. And either way round, they're always in the same order. Oh my goodness, so now we get digits. So that 9 says that this is a 2, that 1 says that this is a 2. Then there's going to be a 2 in one of these cells. Oh, this is already absolutely crazy. Okay, I do know something that we have concluded long ago, probably the first time, actually, maybe not the first time we did a 159 puzzle on the channel, because my vague, hazy memory is that I never noticed this. And then Simon did a 159 puzzle and worked out that every group of these three cells that are pink in a single box has to obey entropy rules, which are that there has to have one digit from 1, 2, 3, one digit from 4, 5, 6, and one from 7, 8, 9. Now, when I first heard this, it sounded like absolute magic, but it's utterly logical because each of these positions is referring to where 1 is in the row. And there can only be 1, 1 in this box. So therefore, there can only be one digit from 1, 2, 3 in this group of cells. There can only be 1, 1 in this box. So there can only be one digit from 4, 5, 6 in this group of cells, and so on and so on. So now I know that's a 2. There is a high digit in one of these cells and a middly digit, a 7 or an 8, because we can't have 9 again, and a 4, 5, or 6. Now, I'm not saying that's useful at the moment, but it might be useful in due course. Now, let's go back to thinking about this 159 business, because although we didn't actually establish where 5 was in column 2, we limited it. And the places we limited it to are not row 1 and row 9. It's either in row 3, column 2, or row 6, column 2, the 5. And I can't, oh, well, that's going to put a 2 in one of these two cells. Now, I don't like to corner mark across boxes. I'm just going to give it a little flash to remind myself that there is going to be a 2 in one of those two cells. I don't think it's that helpful at the moment, but it might matter. What I was going to think about is that there is a 5 in the top row. And wherever that appears, because of the flatmates rule, and it can't have a 1 above it, it must have a 9 below it. And that's going to mean, let's just imagine for a second that they were here and here, the 5 and the 9. That 5 would be indexed by a 7 here because it's in column 7. And that 9 would be indexed by a 7 here. And I think that means that these two cells are always going to be the same because the 5 and the 9 have to be in a concurrent column. Isn't that strange? That's just odd, but it's definitely fact. So I'm going to make them red because they're the same digit. Let's get rid of that thing and just try and remember that 2 has to be in one of those cells. Now, the same deal is going to apply down here. 5 is going to be somewhere in the bottom row, obviously not on the X, with 1 above it. And that same indexing is going to be provided from this cell and this cell. This is going to tell us where the 1 is in row 8. And it's got to be in the same column as the 5 in row 9. Now, can we narrow these down a bit? Like, we at least know that red can't be 2 from this column. We know that, I think we know that can't be a 1. We do know this can't. Neither of these X's can be 1, 9 because we've had that 1, 9 pair in this column. And therefore, neither of these cells can be 1 or 9. So 1 can't appear in those cells. In fact, 1 is quite confined in box 1 now to 4 different cells. I don't see how to use that. Can this still be anything from 3 to 9? Yeah, maybe it can. Okay, there's no point limiting what can go in these cells. I've changed my mind about that. Although maybe there is here. Right, this can't be a 1, 9 pair as well because of that pair looking at this cell. This X has the yellow cell in it. So that digit is the same as that one because they're both the complement of purple is always the complement of yellow in making up the total of 10. This puzzle does my head in. I just struggle to understand it in the worst way. I'm sorry about that, but let's keep fighting my way through it. If 2 is there, that's a 5. If 2 is there, that's a 5. There's a 1 somewhere in column 1. It's obviously not in box 4. If it's in this box, it has to be there. If it's in this box, can that be a 1? That being a 1 is impossible. That being a 1 is fine. Oh, this X pair is either 3, 7 or 4, 6 because it sees a 9 and a 2 in the row. And that means the 5 in this row is either going in column 3, 4, but it's not going in 6 or 7. So this is not a 6, that's not a 4. Is that any use? It doesn't feel like it's any use. I mean, where are the other places where 1s, 5s, or 9s are really difficult to place? Because I'm just not spotting them. This is even. Okay. No, I was going to say something about what this can be. I don't know. I suppose where does 5 go in this row with a 1 above it? It doesn't go there because the 1 is not above it in that column. It doesn't go there because the 1 can't be there because that would be a 9. It could go here with a 1 here. So 3 is possible. It could go here with a 1 here. Now, for 5 to go in one of these cells, one of these is going to be a 1. And the other one's going to be a 9. And that's going to require this to be 7 or 8. Is there also, okay, I'm just not able to think enough about the flatmates rule, I think. Okay, that can't be a 9 in yellow because that can't be a 9 because that can't be a 1. So I think I've limited this, if one can call it limiting, to 3, 6, 7 or 8, making the purple counterpart either 7, 4, 3 or 2. And that's not very limiting, but still, truth is truth. It's so hard to see what is going on. If these were 2, 8 pairs, either of them, there'd be a 2 in one of those cells, but there'd be an 8 in one of those, and therefore a 1 in one of these. I've got to think more about the flatmates rule. That's the one I'm not really getting a grip on. Yeah, I've got to think more about the flatmates rule. So where does 5 go in column 1? Okay, that's quite interesting in respect of the flatmates rule. And I had not thought about this. 5 can't go in those cells because it's on an X and would be next to a 5. Just going to green cells that 5 can't go in this column. Obviously not there and there either. Now, if 5 went here, it would either need a 1 there, which is impossible, or a 9 there, which is impossible. So 5 doesn't go there. 5 could go here with a 1 above it. If it went here, couldn't have a 1 above it. It would have to have a 9 below it. That would be a 1. Okay, so 5 can go in one of those positions. How about 5 here? No. 5 can't go here because that can't be 1 and that can't be 9. 5 can't go here because that can't be 1. Now where's 5 in the first column? It's in one of those two cells. And what is this not? It is not 5. So we found the 5 in column 2. And that digit is a 2. That is bonkers. Bonkers, but brilliant again. Absolutely amazing. I'm just getting blown away by this puzzle, by what I can't see. I mean, if that was really obvious to you, well done. Now, we found that 5 and it's got a 9 beneath it. So it's a fulfilled Dutch flatmate 5. Let's put that in orange. One of these is going to need a 1 there or a 9 there. One of these is another flatmate jobby. And then the third 5 in these 3 columns, you know what I'm trying to highlight, is down here somewhere. It can't be 5 there with a 1 in the box above because we've already had the 1. So one of these is a 5. If that's a 5, this is a 9. If that's a 5, this is a 1. And if this is a 5, then we've either got a 1 above or a 9 below, or both. In all circumstances, this digit is 1, 5, or 9. And one of these in the row, one of these indexers has to be a 3. I don't want to mark across rows as well as everything else I'm trying to avoid doing. But that's interesting still. Now I've got to find a way of keeping thinking about 5s, because it is getting quite interesting now. Is this even cell doing any more? Or has it done everything it was doing by just existing when we were looking at column 2 at the beginning? Okay, maybe I should think about where 5 goes. I don't know, it just doesn't feel so profitable to think about the central column. And I'm sure that the flatmate rule and the way it plays with the 159 rule is the absolute key to making progress in this puzzle. I mean, I think it's a very, very multi-part break-in for what it's worth. But I don't know what I'm meant to be thinking about at this point. I really don't. I'm just thrilled that we've got anything done at all, if I'm brutally honest. Okay, if that was a 5, this is a 1. If that's a 5, this is a 9. Now, if that happens, then you've got 5 here and 9 here. Then the 5 that would be in one of these cells would have to have a 1 above it. Oh, that gets quite interesting. Right, so I'm positing that this is a 5 with a 9 beneath it, which happens to put a 1 over there. I'm not really interested in that. I'm interested in the fact that a 9 here means the 5 in this box is going to need a 1 above it in one of those two cells, which is going to require a 3 in one of those two cells. But the case we're positing is that that's a 5 and that's a 9. So 5 would have to be here, 1 would be there, these yellows would be 3, and the purples would be 7. You'd have 9, 3, 5, 1, 7. And a bunch of even numbers to make up the box. And in this case, this is assuming this is a 5. You've got a 9 here. You've got a 1 forced over here. The 1 in column 1 is going to be in one of those 3 cells. And if this is a 5, the 1 in column 1 is going to be there. So 1 in column 1 is always in one of those 3 cells, and it can never be up here on the X because those can't be 9, and we've found the 1 in column 1, which admittedly is a self-referential 1, meaning that in its row it's just telling you that column 1 has the 1. So it doesn't index anything else, it just indexes itself. But even this is interesting to me. Now I know that 9 does not appear on these X's. So 9's in one of those cells. 9 is not in these cells, and therefore the 5 in these cells definitely has a 1 above it because of the flatmate rule requiring that it must do. And the 1 is in one of those 2 cells, and therefore by the indexing rule, 3 is in one of these 2 cells, and purple is not a 3. Therefore, yellow is not a 7 on the X. I mean, the consequences of a simple deduction in this puzzle are so multifarious, and they branch out so far into such odd things. It's very hard to keep track of. Now, these 2 are X pairs. No, hang on. We need a middly digit here. Right. One of these is a 4 or a 6 because it has to put a 1 somewhere in this box. The other counterpart on the X is the other of 4 or 6. So one of these pairs is a 4-6 pair. And the other pair of digits apart from 9 in this trio is an X pair, a pair that adds up to 10, that isn't 4, 6 or 9, 1. It's either 2, 8 or 3, 7. The final digit we have in these 3 is a high digit to put a 1 over here somewhere. So it's 7 or 8 in one of these cells, going with 2 or 3 in one of these. And am I meant to have a way of knowing which is which? Ooh, the red cell has to replicate in one of these places. That is not a 1 because 5, this is indexing where 5 goes in the row, and it can't go in those cells since we got the 5 here. Do we know that this is the 5 with the 1 above it? Or could this be the 5 with the 9 below it still? What would happen down here? 9, 3, 7. 5, 1. I've looked at that before. It's not actually very exciting. That's annoying. Oh, you make some progress and then you just stumble. Ah, okay. 5 is in one of these cells. That's very important. 5 is not there because that would put a 1 here, wouldn't it? This says where the 1 goes in the row. That's not a 1. So that is not a 5. This is the 5. Oh, that's been blindingly obvious, and you've been shouting that at me, I now realise. Right, that's putting the 1 there, and that 1 refers to where 5 is. They refer to each other. That 5 does need a 9 below it. Now we can place 3. Well, yes, now we know this isn't a 1 because the 1 in this row is indexed to over here, and that's indexing back to the 9. Now this has to be 1 with 5 below it. That's a 3 to refer to it, touching a 7. There we go. We've used yellow. Oh, we've got roping. We've got roping down here. 3, 7, 1. The 1 has to go there in the bottom row, and that's a 3, 7 pair. Now, the roping means that 9 can't be in those cells. It's in one of those, and 9 is in one of those. And this X pair also appears in that group of cells and in this pair of cells. This is an X pair. Well, it's a pair of even digits that add up to 10, therefore. I don't know what they are, but hang on, I do. We've had, oh, wait, I do exactly. We've just put a 1 there. That needs a 6 here. And I've just said this is an X pair because it's that X pair replicating there and here. So that's a 4. That's a 6-4 pair. 6 and 4 appear in these cells. We can do better because now we've got 2 and 8 in those two. And this is a 4-5-6 trio. And this is a 9-8-2 trio. This digit is known. It's a 5. That's putting a 9 there. I mustn't forget the indexing as we go. And this group of cells is 2, 8, 9. This one is indexing the 9, not to there. So it's not a 2. Oh, I could have done that by Sudoku. But that is also meaning that 9 is in one of those two cells and not there. And suddenly the grid is starting in a way to fill in. Right, neither of those are a 6. So one of these is a 6. What have we got? 4, 7, 8. This has to be high, 7 or 8, putting a 1 in one of those cells. Then up here we have 4 in one cell and either 7 or 8 in the other cell, putting 1 in one of those cells and one of those cells. And that all makes sense in terms of where 1 is going in the puzzle. I don't think I know which one of these is a 5 from the indexing down here. I think I need to do more Sudoku somehow. Right, what is this digit? It's 2 or 8, you're quite right. But where does it go in box 1? It goes on one of these X's because it can't go there or there, and by Sudoku it's ruled out of there. So one of these X's has a 2 or 8 on, and one of them has a 4-6 pair. So they are a 2, 4, 6, 8 set of the even digits. With 4, 8 on the left, 2, 6 on the right, this has become a 7 by default. That's going to make this X a 4, 6. The 7 is also placing the 1, which gets rid of a few pencil marks. Yeah, that's probably about it. Let's remove the corner marks there and replace that 9 with 7, 9, 3 as a triple. 2, 6 pair is looking at the grey cell, which becomes 8. And this we can write in as a 3. So we've got almost all the indexing of 1s done. Now, I haven't written in all the 5s. That 4 is saying there's a 5 here. This can't be 4 anymore, and that can't be 5. This can't be 6 by Sudoku, and they're not resolved. That's annoying. 3, that's an 8, because it sees 3, 7, 9 above, so that's a 3. This is a 4, 6 pair. That 3 is looking down here. And then there's going to be a 3 in this group of cells. This is such a good puzzle. Right, this central column. That digit by Sudoku, if nothing else, and by entropy, is 7 or 8, putting a 5 into one of those two places. What about up here? This digit repeats there. Oh, it's not 1 or 5, is it? So it's got to repeat in one of these cells, and it must be there. That must be the red digit. 3, 7, or 9, well, we can see it's not 3 or 9. So that is a 7 repeating. Excellent. Oh, now I've got to go back to the flatmates rule, which I've totally forgotten as I've got overexcited. Well, let's finish off the indexing that this has given us. A 7 there puts a 5 here. Ooh, 5 there. 7 there puts a 9 underneath it. And that is some of the Dutch flatmating. So that 5 has a 9 underneath it. Now, that is now a 3 by Sudoku. I will start looking at the flatmates in a moment, but there is more to do, first of all, with indexing. 9 in one of those cells means that's not a 3. That is 4 or 6. This is a 3. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spot. Light losing its religion. By Sudoku, this is a 1-2 pair. And this is a 4-6-8 triple. And this pair is a 3-9 pair. Okay, 37215. We need a 4 or a 6 here and an 8 or a 9. Where's 5 in this row? It's going to be in one of these 3 cells. So this is 5 or 6. Oh, this has become 8 by Sudoku, putting 5 there. Oh, doesn't that do anything else? That's weird. 3 is in one of those. Now, I've got a 1, 2 pair. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. So that can't be 2. This is 4, 6, 8, or 9. That's... Oh, look, is that really an 8, 9 pair? Yes, that's a 2. That's just Sudoku. So in this column, 4, 6, 7, 8 still to place. 7 is in one of those 2 cells. Okay, let's have a look up here. 3, 2, 9, 7. 5 has to be in one of these 2 according to the indexing. This seems left to be 4 or 8. If that was 6, this would have to be 2, 8, 1, 5, 4. That seems all right. What about where 9 goes here? That's going to lead to a 4 or a 6 here, as well as an 8 or a 9. Oh, the flatmates. I was going to look at the flatmates and I forgot. Right, that 5's been done. This is going to be the flatmates. That 5's got a 1 above it. That's been done. This 5 can't have a 1 above it, so it must have a 9 beneath it. It's that simple. This 5 needs a 9 beneath it too. This 5 has a 1 above it. That's been done. We're going to have a 5. This can't be a 5 because of 7, 2. It's so easy when you just look. That 5 has got both, the 1 above and the 9 below. Very happy flatmate there. This is a 5 by Sudoku, and that can't have a 1 above it, so it has a 9 beneath it. And we have accounted for the flatmates of all the 5s. Why has that gone blue? Because I miscolored it. There we go. They're all accounted for. And now we can just finish off with Sudoku, I think. There's probably still a bit of indexing to do. 5, 4, 6. We've got that becoming an 8. That's going to make this the 4, 6 pair with the 2, 8 pair beneath it. That 2 is looking across. We get a 1 here and a 4 here and a 3 here, and we finish box 2. Now, this is a 2 because it's got 8 in its box. And that must be 3 and that must be 7. I don't know why the 4, 6 pair is not resolved. 2, 1, 9 there makes that 8. We get a 9 down here. So we're looking up here, we need an 8. There it is. That is 4 or 6. And that's positioning the 9 in this row, so it's a 4. And that is going to do all we need to finish off. Fantastic. Thank you, Codec, for making this. Thank you, Flinty, for the whole idea. And there we go, 6 here. Oh, look, just before I do that, look at the 5s. Every single one of them that can have a 9 below it has got one. Now, a few of them, these 3, have 1s above them. The one in the bottom, in the basement, obviously has to have a 1 above it. But all of the 5s that can have a 9 beneath them, which is all the ones highlighted, do. Isn't that weird? I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know how grids that have Dutch flatmates have to work out, but intriguing, intriguing. Lovely stuff by Codec. I really enjoyed grappling with that terrace. I still cannot believe that columns 2 and then 1 and then 5 gave us enough information to get going at the start. Incredible. Thank you for watching us on the channel. It's always a pleasure to have you with us, and we hope to see you again soon for more Sudoku fun. Bye for now.